Hey guys, welcome back to TV Movie Mistress. As always, I'm your host, Mo.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Jawan.
And we're perfect. Yes! Welcome.
Yeah. You would never have to know that we had to rehearse that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's not like I've been podcasting for a decade and probably half of that with y'all. No.
We could have just kept going, but somebody just had to point it out that we had to rehearse that.
And then someone had to explain why I got excited. You didn't have to explain it, Sean. So I guess we're both at fault. How does that feel?
I feel like your loyal listeners would know anyway. They'd be like, oh shit, they got it right.
Once every decade, you're welcome.
Right. It happens.
Welcome back, guys. We are here today to talk about Interview with the Vampire Season 2, Episode 2, titled...
What does it mean to be loved by death?
What Joanne said.
Do you know what it means? I'm sorry. And I fucked it up too. Do you know what it means to be loved by death?
Yes, it's a great title. Sorry, stupid AMC plays commercials now, and the title screen disappeared. And I was like, where's my title screen, AMC? But yes, I love the title. I could make love to the title. It's
all their titles are so great.
It's super long to type out when I'm doing the Lisbon part of shit, but the viewer, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Joanne.
And I love titles that are quotes from the actual episodes.
Right.
Yeah, that they actually use. Yeah. It's a lovely title. What, Joanne? What happened?
I was just cutting in to say that this episode was written by Rollin Jones, and I'm gonna butcher this, Jonathan Sinceros. And
Sinceros?
Yes. Thank you. And thank you for the assist. And directed by Levin Aiken. Again, these are TV writers, directors. This director, he hasn't done much, actually. Well, at least done much that I've seen, but he did a great job with this episode. I must say, and it was written very well. But we'll get deeper into that once we start talking about the episode proper.
Okay, so you know what? That's really interesting. So let's jump into that. Carly, what did you think about this episode overall?
Interrupting the woman. Sorry.
This is why I don't let men on the show, but go ahead.
I want to go back to last week. There's something that I think that we missed.
Oh, okay.
And I talked to you about this and I
didn't understand it. Yeah.
Well, at the very end of last week's episode, when Louis and Claudio was on the in the car, in the truck going to wherever they were going, probably France. In the background, you can clearly see, and I didn't see it the first time. I saw it when I watched it on the big screen, but you can clearly see the Venus de Milo in the background. And I thought that was pretty cool, which was also kind of an Easter egg, in my opinion, for real life history in World War II, where the Nazis stole a bunch of French art, French and Greek art. So I think that was just a nice little Easter egg.
So
was the Venus de Milo something that was stolen as well?
From what I could tell, I believe it was a sculpture that was either confiscated or stolen by the Nazis. I think it was. I do, from what I could find in the research, in a little bit of research I did, that it was believed to be in Nazi possession. I may be wrong about that, considering the source, but I know it was returned to Greece sometime after the Second World War.
Oh, so it was returned.
But it's in the Louvre. It's in the Louvre now.
It's in the Louvre. Yeah, it is in the Louvre now. So I think that was kind of like a little subtle little shout out to that they were on the way to Paris, because I don't think at the end of the first episode that's where they said exactly where that was going.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's definitely because I just did a quick search. The Venus de Milo has been in the Louvre since 1821.
As long as it's not with the British, because they stay stealing shit.
Yes, they do. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Okay, so Joanne, what did you think about this episode overall? Wait, Carly, did you tell the listeners what you thought about this
No, because I
episode?
interrupted her.
Okay, gotcha. So let's go back to Carly.
I was interrupted. No,
By a man.
I love this episode. I thought this episode was fantastic, especially after last week's kind of more somber episode. To see Louis and Claudia in Paris and to kind of see the state of mind that they are in, the both of them, and the kind of dynamic that's kind of happening between the two of them. Claudia trying to do what young people do with with their family. They kind of trying to find their own way and find their own people and kind of cut that tether to their
It's a rite of
family, and she's trying to do
passage.
that.
Yeah.
She's trying to do that in this episode with Louis, and Louis trying to just be happy or content or just trying to find I love that he took up photography because he's that's a connection to humans that I feel like he has always had. So those elements are great, and then in the present day, the shenanigans happening between Louis, Armand, and Daniel, I was here for all of it.
Yeah.
So this episode was fabulous. After every episode, literally as soon as it ends, I'm like, damn, that was a good episode. And I feel like I say that for every episode. So this one was not the exception.
Okay. Joanne, what did you think about this week's episode?
So this may come to a shock to both of you all, but I gotta admit that I just absolutely fucking loved this episode.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, why was that a shock? Why is that a shock?
I'm just because y'all probably thought I was gonna say I hated it, but this, I would say this probably is so far my favorite episode of the series. So far there, and I 100% agree with you, Carly, with the exception of one thing, which I'll get into in a second. But I think there was it was a nice refreshing change of pace from the trauma dumps that we have been getting over the past few episodes, ever since Louis and Lestat kind of like broke up that first time. So, and everything since then it's been good, but it's really been a lot somber. And I think this episode was like a refresh in the energy. It was like much more energetic. It had drama. It had some laughs. It had scares. It had pretty much everything on the roller coaster interview with the vampire need, and it had a refreshing joke to the show. I love meeting the new characters. This segment, I know y'all don't really remember too much from the movie, which is probably a good thing for both of y'all, but this was this section in the movie, and I haven't read the book, but this section of the movie was my favorite section. I was sad that it was so short of a section in the movie that can cover all of it, and I'm with how this starts off within the show. I'm so excited to see how they flesh this particular part of the story out, and to see the full realization of that story. I don't know how it is in the book, but just seeing like how we kind of get a taste of it here, I just kind of feel like, okay, this is gonna be, I believe maybe this season is gonna be all the France stuff, which I'm excited for. Like you said, Carly, like Claudia, seeing Claudia's exuberance and that child coming out of her, even though she's like 40 years old, but seeing still that child come out of her and her experiencing joy and wonder that this dream that she's been having of meeting other vampires, as treacherous as their situation is because of what happened last season is, but just seeing how she is so that she's really, really taken to them and has this and feel like she has this family, that she can connect with.
Okay, you're about to summarize the whole episode. Let's
okay, I'm sorry. Wait. The one thing that I did kind of think was a weaker part to me was the present day stuff. It was intriguing, but I found it a little bit weak. So and
Interesting.
we'll get into it a little bit more when we get into
Mhm.
there. Never interrupt the man again. So
I'm sorry.
You're right.
I'm sorry, sir. This is funny. I feel like Devin because like I kind of thought this episode was meh.
Really?
ooh,
Yeah, and like I
That's the
actually
real surprise.
right.
that's a surprise. That's a first.
Like I watched it twice. But I know why I thought it was meh because it's fucking Louis. Louis is the problem.
Louis always a problem.
Probably been
You should get
saying
on a
that.
t-shirt.
Louis is the problem. Yes.
Louis the problem.
Please remind me. I want that. Because I've probably been saying that since season 1. But this, I like the modern day. Like Daniel is normally annoying to me, but in this episode, I actually enjoyed Daniel and sort of the revelation of the mindfuck that Armand has been sort of throwing his way all these decades. Louis, I'm just tired of seeing him be a pawn. I think that's genuinely, I'm tired of seeing the character be used by everyone as a pawn, whether it's Armand or Lestat or even Claudia.
That's a good point.
So I think I find that very frustrating to see as a person because it's like, you should know better by now. And I know that's not how people work. I know that's just not how life works, but because of that, it made me not enjoy this episode. Not enjoy, but I wasn't like as engaged with it because it was just like, damn, Louis, you're being played, my guy. It's like having to see your friend be played, and you're just like, this is cringy. This is I don't want to be here for this, Louis.
Right.
But on that note, let's jump into the episode itself. We start with Louis recounting his and Claudia's arrival to Paris. They're pickpocketing to survive. And at the same time, Armand is recounting how him and his crew stalked them for months.
Which is kind of interesting because I would imagine they've been in this situation before. Like if you go to, I understand in Paris, of course, all the vampires, they have with a whole clan of vampires there. But I would imagine they've probably, and we haven't seen this, but the vampires probably know that they're there. They should be able to sense them. Like last season, old dude.
They did.
Old dude, what was his name? Did she say that this episode?
Bruce.
But Bruce.
Yeah.
He sensed her. He sensed her before she sensed him.
Yeah.
So and then last episode, old girl knew to run straight to Louis. So yeah.
And Louis and her just out here.
Yeah. So
GPS on and everything, locator on.
But did he know that? Did he know the rules of
because you
vampire
matched her
coven?
before you found out all the rules. Well, also Louis Lestat was extremely protective of these motherfuckers. Like he probably should have he wasn't ever gonna let Louis leave the house, but he wasn't. but
also, if you're a vampire, do you really got a pickpocket? Can you just
rob a bank?
Why don't you just you got super speed. Well, I don't know if they have used that yet.
Hypnotize people to be like, give me your money. Like,
I don't know if they use that yet. I'm just thinking find the rich.
It's probably easier.
I'm just thinking find the rich.
Easier how? Mesmerizing you with my eyes is easier.
I'm thinking that dude that Louis later on, that dude that when he went to the bank, okay, that dude obviously has the money. Bite him, okay? So
this is so bad. This is like the backwards ass shit that Louis does that I hate, honestly.
No, but I mean, if you're trying to just go unnoticed and not necessarily leave a trail or weave in and out, I think it is easier to just
but you have
slip
the power
your
of
hand
hypnotism
into someone's pocket.
Well, Carl,
right, but then that means that you have to interact and then do all that, and instead of just slipping your hand into someone's pocket and just keeping it moving.
Carl, consider the ending.
Which ending?
The
of
end
this
of
episode?
Yes.
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, I'm like, listen.
We'll get there.
Okay, I'll remember.
I'll say your point when we get to the end.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, what I'm saying is that they don't know any of those vampire rules because they've never met another vampire other than Lestat and Claudia met Bruce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of socialization. So it's just kind of of course they're not going to know that. So they were just all right, now we're in here in Paris. We're looking for vampires,
Go
and
rob
they weren't
rich
going to like
people though. Why
announce
do you have to
themselves.
rob poor people after the war?
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
the whole city, Paris was like in rebuilding mode, so the whole city
Rich
was
people
kind of
always
just
got
like,
money. Go to their country
I know.
house, open up a fucking safe, and take that gold out. Like, what are you doing, Louis? Like, he's such.
That feels like a lot. That feels like a lot.
I'm sorry.
Go-
Sorry. Sorry, making robbery hard for you. Okay. Oh, so how do you guys feel? This is one thing I kept seeing on the internet where people were like, you know, in the movie or in the books, Louis and Claudia were never poor. So, like, as soon as they arrived in Paris, they were living like that bomb ass life, supposedly. So, I guess this question can only probably pertain to Joanne, who has watched the movies. How do you feel about them being poor in this iteration? Because some people are like, are they poor because they're Black? What do you think, Joanne?
That's actually, and I didn't even think of it that way until you just said that. Maybe they were trying to kind of make a commentary that like Black people in this time, because this is before Josephine Baker, I believe, right?
Probably
No,
around.
Josephine Baker was helped during the war.
Okay,
Right?
so
Okay.
I would imagine. So I don't know if they were trying to make a commentary
And
on
Louis
that. But
Armstrong before Josephine Baker, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I'm thinking that I don't know if it's a commentary, but I do like the departure from it because, like you said, Carly, they are trying to blend in. So it might be a little bit outside the realm of possibility that you have these two Black vamp people like living in a lap of luxury in Paris, as opposed to just like like they're just getting by because they're just and living low key. So I do like the departure though.
But like
But I
Louis
mean,
said last week,
how
like,
are they going to be?
Go ahead, Carly.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, how are they going to have all this money? And I mean, I've never read the books, but it seems like the show is staying really close to the books. So maybe this is part of the book, but also it just doesn't make sense. Like, where would they have all this money? They ran away from America. They were traveling all around Europe. Like where exactly were they going to have all this money to live in the lap of luxury? It makes sense that they don't have any.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still tripping about them paying.
How did they get the money in the movie, Joanne? If you don't mind.
Louis was in the movie. Louis owned the plantation.
No, so but like in Paris, where they're supposed to be running away from Lestat.
It was Lestat actually was the one that was broke. Louis was the rich one in the movie. So Louis always had
money. Okay.
Louis always had money.
Lestat and in this case, he should still have money because he got all them brothels and shit.
Well, let's see when he comes back to America.
Yeah,
they could do wire Western Union back then. Western Union's been around since like 1850. I feel like.
Well, they explained real in the weeds here. Explained this in the episode.
People are listening like motherfuckers who don't care about banking in the vampire world.
We're not supposed to talk about banking.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of my anyway. Okay, so I've asked the question. We'll move on. I did like the conversation they had where her and Claudia and Louis are like, again, they're exploring the town as tourists. Louis more so, even though you can kind of see like Claudia is just like, I'm just here for my mama. Not really enjoying the touring and all of that stuff.
Right. Louis really took to like being a tourist.
He's so cringy,
you know what I mean? Yes. And just kind of gave himself up to it. Like, and he was so happy about it. Yes. He was, when they were having a conversation at the cafe, he was like, let me be cool with like my delusions and thinking that I'm all, like he was just like completely fully into it. And part of me was just kind of like, I'm glad because, an episode where he's not sulking, I'm okay with that.
Very true.
I'm okay with that. I needed a break.
He might as well have been wearing a beret.
It reminds me of his mom in the 2000s who started wearing like sweatsuits with the juicy on their butt, and their kids are like, "Mom, this is so embarrassing."
I do you one better.
In my life, and that's what it's giving.
I do you one better. Louis is the type of nigga that ain't never been nowhere, that has never been out of his city, and all of a sudden gets a passport and goes to a European country and is wearing and wants to just wear what he thinks that wears. Like I said, he might as well have been wearing a beret. And I talk about this. And I talk about this as a nigga who has just gotten a passport and about to go to Europe. So
Like
for the
every
first
week
time.
we're gonna get
For the first
updates
time.
on this. I'm here for it. I'm not hating.
But
As someone still
so
trying to figure out where she's going this year, I'm not. I'm gonna live vicariously through you, Joanne.
yeah, this nigga, and you kind of see it because you saw he had his little scarf on, his little Parisian
Yes.
scarf.
Yeah, he was fully like cosplaying, tourist.
Yes.
But okay, I'm gonna pose this again
Okay.
because this is like a hill that I'm gonna probably die on this season.
No.
But so when we start off the like memories and Louise like recounting it, and then Armand kind of steps in and he's just like, "Can I say it?" And then he went and like said this like very poetic, like Louis was so happy and all this stuff. To me, I was just kind of like, and I think Louis said something like, Paris. When I think of Paris, all I think about is happiness or something similar to that. So to me, it's just kind of like that felt wrong somehow because didn't something happen to? Spoiler, I don't know if this is like a spoiler for the book or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, didn't something happen to Claudia? Like, didn't she die in Paris or
That's
something
the
like that?
question for me because Claudia ain't here with y'all.
No. So because of that, to me, I'm just kind of like, this whole like everything was so great in Paris, and it just brings a smile to my face. I was like, this feels like they're like Armand's fingerprints all over it.
Oh yeah, this was an entire scary movie. But wait, let me pause. Because before we delve deep, I just want to mention one comment Louis had where Daniel was like, "Oh well, like you're making it seem like Paris wasn't racist," and Louis was like, "It wasn't like for me," and I totally get that, right? Because people, where I've been to like a bunch of international, well, not a bunch. Let me relax myself, but most recently,
it was in South Korea.
South Korea is probably the last internet. I need to add another one. I'm like, okay, South Korea, yes. And people are like, well, why would you go to South Korea? Like they don't know black people, which they do. But also I'm like, I tell people all the time, their cops don't have guns. The most you can ever do is call me a nigga. And outside of my feelings being hurt, I'm good. I'm not dead. Because as an American, guess what? Someone can call me a nigga and shoot me, kill me, and sexually assault me all in one go. But
how do you know they tell you a nigga? They're just saying no.
Huh? Well, no is not nigga.
Which one is nigga in that language?
Nigga. Which I've kind of forgotten what that means now. But it sounds like nigga, but it's nigga. But the most they're gonna do is look at you like, bitch. Like that, and it's like, okay, whatever. I'm still alive. That didn't shoot a bullet through my. And I kind of felt that was sort of what Louis was getting to with Armand. It's like it's different. Also, he's an American. He's completely right. That American passport back then, especially, gives you more privilege than any other black person on earth. Like
you're the exotic one, you're the culture.
Yes. So you're not going to get, you're going to get some form of prejudice, but you're not going to get the full blunt of prejudice.
I understand. I feel you on that because and I think I feel like this show is trying to make many commentaries on race, and that's why I love the fact. I probably would not have liked this show if this was just two white vampires. Again, I think just Louis being black as a extra dynamic to that, and because you get to insert race into the story, whereas Daniel, as woke as Daniel is still trying to tell a black man who has lived for 100 years, 100 years of that you're not experiencing racism. How can you experience racism?
You're not experiencing racism rightly.
The right way. And Louis is trying to say, like, you know what? I'm just happy that no one is trying to lynch me. And like you said, Mo, the worst they can do is call me a name. But I've been called names in America. But they're not trying to kill me for just existing.
Exactly. And that makes a difference. That genuinely, like, I love South Korea because one, their cops don't carry guns. You don't know how freeing it is to be in a country where cops all just don't have guns for no fucking reason. It just kind of adds a whole other level of like whatever. Also, I'm Nigerian. Niggas is racist in Nigeria. Like, racism exists everywhere because, yeah, fucking colonialism. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yes.
yeah, you take away the violent element, it's like, I'm Louis. I'm like, this is the best fucking vacation ever, unfortunately.
And also, like, Paris was that place where, like, it was like, you know, gay au Paris, like very free and welcoming to the different, you know, to the other, in a way, in many ways. So I think that also added an element to it, especially since we're going to, you know, land in a place where they're vampires, but they're also like artists in a way. So that feels also very like what he was talking about, felt also very like Paris in that time.
Right. And I also love how Claudia calls attention to it later on in the episode when she's talking about Armand being darker than Louis. Like, you know, you're like, hey, like, check yourself. I do want to go back for 1 second about something that Carly had said. Okay, so again, I mentioned this last week. I thought about this a little bit more after the first episode. Claudia, we all know, is not here. Carly, you mentioned something about maybe something possibly happens to Claudia in Paris, and Louis is either glamored or misremembering it.
I'm just saying.
Y'all don't remember the movie, so I'm not gonna spoil anything from what happens in the movie. But I'm still curious is why Daniel is focused on these 4 missing pages. Why is he never asked where Claudia is to get to the point and cut to the chase? I would do, as a reporter, I would do that. And the only reason
he did.
Did he?
I think he did in season 1, and then Louis had mentioned like they've never seen her again after something. I want to say that he did in season 1.
And all that just seems weird. Like, Louis,
it seems weird.
Critically, what the fuck?
I think. Okay, I got a theory. Again, this will be. I don't know about I haven't read the book. I don't know. Haven't read the book. I just know the movie. But I have a theory. I think Claudia is actually still. My theory is she's still around. We just haven't seen.
Really, I would love for Claudia to still be around.
I got that impression in season 1 when they had that conversation that she was still around. And he just didn't know where he was. Okay. Yeah,
because we do know there are other vampires in the world. You know, they mention other vampires in the world. I think she's still around. I go one step further. I think she's there. She just hasn't revealed herself yet.
Because it's very hard for me to believe that Claudia would exist in this world where this dumbass relationship is happening. Because she's the only one that would
Armand and Louis?
Yeah, Armand and Louis, because this is a stupid ass relationship. It's not based on reality.
But she was around when it started, so why wouldn't she be around
77 years later where it's stupid? I don't know.
Maybe it was stupid back then too.
She was over it from day one, and apparently so was I. Okay, so yeah, they're exploring town as tourists. Claudia remains increasingly agitated by the state of affairs. She does not like their current life, and it's during these conversations that they start to play with Daniel during the current time, like bait to a fish. Real Rashid is still there and continues to be a target of Daniel's pettiness.
Nigga, my name is Rashid. Okay,
my name is Rashid. Thank you very much.
You don't need a qualifier. Okay.
Oh my god, he needs a raise is what he needs. Like Daniel just being like, "Hey, real Rashid, how are you today?" I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, Daniel.
He did stop after Rashid was like, "It's just
because he got checked."
Yeah, no. Daniel was getting checked left and right this episode, which I appreciated. But like,
I felt bad for Daniel. I didn't think I could feel bad for Daniel, but I felt bad for Daniel this episode.
You could tell it was getting to. They was fucking real hard. You could tell.
Man was about to cry. There was about to be a single tear down his right eye. Okay, but as Louis recounts the story along with Armand, who for some fucking reason has to finish. They have to finish each other's sentences.
That's just a couple.
Girl.
No, fuck that shit. I hate it. Don't do that.
I hated that. I hated that. I'm with you, Mo. My thing was just kind of like, is this Interview with the Vampires? No, it's Interview with a fucking Vampire. Just one, not you two. And to me, I'm just kind of like, this whole like lovey-dovey, like even Louis' behavior changed, like the way he moved his body. He was so expressive and so happy and like so in love, and they kept like looking at each other and doing that couple
He's
shit.
never
I
cranky. He's
was
never angry. He's
no,
never tested. Like, nigga,
no.
all you were was annoyed when you were with Lestat. Who is this person I am seeing?
I don't know, but I didn't like. You know what it is? Listen, I'm biased. I'm gonna be honest and just say that I'm biased. And Armand can go
Fuck himself.
kick rocks
Yes.
because it's Lestat and Louis forever,
Done.
right? But
L and
but,
L.
Right, but to me, this kind of like, oh, it's us now having this interview felt very manipulative, and I just everything that Armand does makes me trust him even less.
Yes.
It just makes me trust him even less. Like even when they're trying to like recount their like cute, meetup at the cruising spot in the park, like it was just kind of like,
okay, so that was a cruise, because I wasn't sure. I was like, it could be a regular
absolutely,
park, or is
it
this
was
a download park? Okay, I wasn't.
Yeah.
It was niggas fucking in the background.
Right.
Were they? I did not notice because I'm innocent. I did not notice fucking in the background. I got to rewatch that thing. I saw trees because I'm a nature girl. Jesus Christ.
No, you're so
You're so innocent.
You're so innocent.
Sorry.
It's just, I don't know. It's just the whole Armand and Louis being like lovey-dovey and like, and like playing with each other and like weirdly flirting.
It's one of,
and
it's
Louis
like,
just being like more expressive with his like, his facial expressions and his hands and like his body language. He just seemed so like into it that it just felt almost like it felt so real that it felt insincere.
That's the word for it. Yes. It feels like when a couple is trying too hard.
Right.
Yeah. And that's
which is why when Daniel was like, yeah, keep selling it. Because Daniel was like trying to call
Daniel wasn't here for it. Daniel was not here.
Daniel was not.
Daniel was like, what is this bullshit you got going on?
Right. And Daniel got checked, and maybe he
checked a little too hard.
Maybe he should have or not, depending on how you feel about it. But like the fact that Daniel was just kind of like, all of this is bullshit. I want you guys to get to the fucking conflict and the nitty gritty that I'm reading on these pages that Claudia wrote, and all you guys are giving me is your meet cute. And then, you know what I'm saying? So like, cut the shit, but keep, keep selling it, but know that I'm not buying it. I'm not believing it.
Daniel, listen, I was like, I am not buying this bullshit at all, and I'm tired of it. So they go back into the past. Armand, we see him introduce Louis to the folks from the Théâtre des Vampires.
When they go, when they go watch the play.
Yes. But first, we watch the play that is as wild as fuck. But it serves to lull the audience to their death. So what did you guys my first question, I'll give this to the man. I'm feeling generous. Joanne, what did you think of the show, one, and of the main actor on stage?
Let's fucking go. Okay. Let me tell y'all something.
Okay.
Y'all know me for years. Y'all know that I love a problematic white man.
Unfortunately, yes, that is a thing we know. Yes.
Unless that problematic white man is named Lestat. But
however, he is the perfect problematic.
You're loving the wrong one.
Wait. Thank you.
Ho. But this motherfucker Santiago, my nigga, I love this motherfucker right here. I love that motherfucker right there. I fucks with this nigga so hard.
He's so extra though.
He had so again, movie comparison. He was in the movie. He was played. I want to get his actor a shout out. In the movie, he was played by Stephen Ray, who's been in a lot of good stuff. Great Irish actor. This one, his name is Ben Daniels. Yeah. This guy had he had the theatricality. He had the drama. He had the menace. He had the terrifying acting at the end. I loved everything about Santiago. Give me more of him. Okay,
give him his own spinoff.
That was my exact thought. If they did a spinoff just about Santiago, I would be there. First of all, how you become a vampire when you're like fucking 60 years old and you fucking and still be fine? Nigga, what the fuck is that
He
shit
had that
about?
silver hair. He was still dressing fine. Like he could be dressed like Louis dresses like an old fucking man. Santiago
Louis an old
dresses
man.
like he has style.
Y'all call Lestat, y'all fun over Lestat and call this motherfucker was gorgeous. As much as I can say as a straight man, this motherfucker was gorgeous. Okay? So I love everything about this person, about Santiago in this show.
Carly, what are your thoughts on Santiago?
He was fabulous. The show I thought was so good. I know that it was introduced as kind of like that this theater troupe is, isn't really accepted by like the theater community, or
because y'all are vampires.
No,
maybe because of what
like,
maybe it's because of their themes and what they do.
Like very off Broadway.
Yeah, it's kind of like, they're kind of like hoity-toity, the theater community, and these people are like talking about blood and murder and vampires, so they seem to be like on the fringes. So outside, like, that makes sense. When you see the show, I was like, oh yeah, that's amazing. But what I loved the most about the show, other than Santiago, was that they tried so hard to like lull the audience into disbelieving what they're seeing in order for them to do something that was completely real.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the fake blood, even Santiago's makeup, like quote unquote vampire makeup with the extra white skin and like the hair slicked back and the big cape. He gave off Dracula vibes.
Like, which one of us who grew up watching Darkwing Duck has not ever just like appeared in the corner of a room and be like like it gave me life.
Call me out.
Life. I don't know.
But I just, that whole show, I wish I would have like seen it because it looked incredible.
It was technical. Like they had like because again, this is before like technology, like CGI and all that shit. And I loved how like Armand was explaining how the theater works and Louis was explaining how the theater works, like how they would take the images and the people would sort of like act in it, and you saw it moving. Like that was pretty fun. Like if I saw that shit today, I would be like, this is fucking cool.
No,
like,
it's dope. Really and having Armand's like, artistic direction have it be this. Like I thought it was amazing, brilliant. And it was also scary, but like campy. Like, and when you were talking about Santiago, like Santiago did really embodied or like, embodied all of these kind of like conflicting things at the same time, where it was just like he felt really sincere and dramatic, but also like super campy and like, you know what I mean? Like all of these things he did so well.
He was channeling
I thought he was the perfect MC for this fucking show. Like I was completely enthralled.
Bela Lugosi. I feel like he was channeling the actor. I feel like he was.
Bela Lugosi was the first actor who played. What's his name? Dracula.
So the guy that we always see like all the pictures, that is Dracula.
Yes, that's Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
Okay. I totally
he did,
agree.
but I also think that like even for us, no, Bela Lugosi had already happened by the time they were doing this, because this was in the 40s. So like maybe he was inspired by Bela Lugosi, and that kind of adds to the artifice of like, if I look like who you've seen on screen, which is fake, which is a movie, you won't be so afraid. So all of that, like I found that to be just thrilling in and of itself. Like I was watching that like opening, this introduction of the character of Lestat and of the play and of the the Théâtre des Vampires, like that opening with him like saying welcome, and then flying through the air and then coming out and then screaming
like,
at
this
him
is
and then
all
being
your
like,
fault, bitches.
yes, and like having the like my favorite part was just like he was just telling them the truth as to what was going to happen, but like he also had kind of like this like disgust, you know what I mean, of like humans and all that, and like I found that to be like his balance of everything was just phenomenal. I'm talking about Santiago, but then the actor portraying Santiago, I thought he was
I feel like the show was trying to make us look at him as the villain, while Armand is there fucking doing all his bullshit as well. I feel like even Louis, where like, this is me jumping a little far, but like Louis kind of mentions, Santiago didn't like me because I fell asleep during a show. I'm like,
when
Probably
he's
more than
hamming it
that.
up.
Probably other shit
Probably
happened
more
that
than that.
your
You know
dumb
you're a
ass
bitch.
don't remember.
Yeah,
Like,
I know you're a bitch.
But also at the same time, like just knowing actors and like, you know, those self-centered kind of like leading types, that also kind of makes sense. It's like, hey, I'm up here like giving you my all and you're fucking falling asleep. Like that's not cool. So
yes.
I can see both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, it
So
was
one more thing, real quick. Again,
Mhm.
I agree with. I won't rehash everything Carly said about the show, but the show
Well,
was
we're women who are
fantastic.
always right, so you do agree with us. Yes.
Yeah,
continue.
the show was fantastic. I don't know if you're gonna mention this or I'm skipping ahead. Like
Probably.
that, but do y'all watch the after show?
Yes.
The
Oh, is
after
it
show?
about the actress?
The actress, yes.
So let's not skip to that because first,
Okay.
I didn't even know who this chick was. So I'm very happy that like I didn't know who she was because I could be a biased bitch at the time. I'd be like, well, fuck you, bitch. You think you special. The the actress who plays the victim they bring on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I felt this shit was real. I felt scared for her. Like this was some excellent acting. So to then find out, which I believe this is what Joanne's about to bring up, that she's like the assistant to the PA, I believe.
To the director.
To the
Yeah, she's
director.
the assistant to the director.
I mean,
Yeah, he's his secretary.
Slight nepotism, but I'm gonna allow it because she's fucking good.
Yes.
Go. I yield the floor to you guys.
Yeah, she was amazing, and just kind of like seeing Santiago play off of her as actors in this scene was incredible. Like you said, Moji, it felt real. I haven't had like something that I know is fiction, but made it feel so real. That it was just like breathtaking. You know, I was literally breathtaking, especially that little part where he was like your husband, your son, and then that guy, and then she's like, and then like and Santiago, like, you know, his eyes transfixed on this dude, and wow, and everything about it was amazing. That whole sequence.
I agree. Carly, did you have anything to add?
No, she was amazing. I mean, to find out that she was the assistant director, what like it's great that she wasn't like an actor, but a lot of those, you know, a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm like maybe she's going towards
those
actor,
technical
like,
things, right?
like,
exactly. They kind of, you know, they just get a job anywhere to just be on a set and be close to
I
it.
took that part with a grain of salt because I was just like, but again, she was really good, so I was like, I can forget the other.
She was great.
Shit. Yeah,
no, she was great. Like she looked like she was terrified, like legitimately not even acting, terrified. And that's, you know, like I felt it in my bones, and that's, you know, that's fucking like,
and the
I
way
was
she
so
goes
amazed.
from like
But it reminded me.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that it reminded me of remember in The 100 when Clark and Lexa got married? I'm sorry, when they like pledged loyalty to each other. Like, and there was a singer there. There was a singer that was like singing the like wedding song,
and she like evoked all the feelings. Yeah.
Yes, that singer was also like a behind the costume person, or like the behind the scenes, like one of the, you know, behind the scenes people too. So when I saw that, I was like, oh shit!
I miss the 100. I miss it so much.
So much.
But yeah, where was I going? Yeah, no, this scene was fabulous. She was a really fantastic actress. I felt it all. Even the scene where she goes from like terrified to just accepting the shit calmly. Because I don't know, I would have jumped off that goddamn stage and broken a shin or some shit and just ran.
I'm surprised that she didn't, like when she came out and the guy was like, hey, she's interrupting the performance. I would have just kept going. Unless they like glamored her or whatever, that she can't go past.
I think at the end of the day, she was like, dead, but I would have tried. I'm not going to make my death easy for you. Get out of here. I'm a woman. I'm going to make this shit difficult.
I'm going to fight to the end.
I actually saw a TikTok the other day, which might be false, but it sounds good, where this guy was like, well, you know what? You know how like women show up to dates a little bit late. He kind of like equaled it to like, well, psychopaths. Like if a man is crazy and shit, if a woman shows up to a date late, he won't be able to hide his agitation, which will allow the woman to recognize that like, oh, this nigga crazy.
Interesting.
But so it's sort of like a survival mechanism. Women have to actually be late. And I was like, this feels like bullshit, but it also feels like bullshit I'm willing to accept.
It does feel like bullshit, but I can split. It tracks.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Like, I don't know what scientific studies you motherfuckers did, but I will accept it. Okay, so from there we've got after the show, and this girl is dead. Armand.
Wait, no, hold on. Because I feel like one of the most important things about the performance and everything was the reactions of Claudia and Louis.
Oh, Claudia was in that shit.
Like Claudia's elation while she was watching this show was everything. Not that I was surprised, but I was just like legit. Like she looked like she was having such a great time, and she was amazing. She was like enamored and enthralled by this whole thing. And the more vicious it got, like towards the end when they were like eating that woman, like her face, like her eyes could not have been wider. Like
Louis,
she was
you
just
are
like
not raising this child right. That's all I'm saying. I was like, Louis, you're.
But I loved her reaction.
Yeah.
And but you can tell, and also Louis is like probably that Louis' reaction, because Louis he kills out of necessity. So I don't think he likes to kill him for fun.
Louis,
so
but
he was
I find that so hypocritical, and I think I mentioned this in episode 1. Like, so you're not feeding on humans, but you're murdering humans.
Yeah, but like the humans that they were murdering in last week's episode, weren't they like Nazis? So it's okay.
So I mean that's absolutely fine. Kill all the fucking Nazis that exist, but eventually there will be non-Nazis that Louis will kill, especially when he says he kept killing until like 2000.
Right.
Yeah. But he was kind of like kind of appalled. You can kind of tell a little bit.
He was.
Yeah.
About this.
No, I didn't say that. Who said that? Juan, you said that? Why would you say that about Louis? Why would you call Louis
he totally
a bitch,
was.
Like, wow, that's rude. Okay.
Juan could sound like Mo, so nice.
Okay. So from there we've got, let's see, Armand. Okay, yeah, it's the after the show. Armand introduces Louis to the folks from the Theatre des Vampires. And it's basically everybody just being like, oh, you guys are here. Hey. And I'm like, everyone is too fucking friendly. Just, I don't like none of this.
One girl wanted to fuck. She was there.
Right?
Yeah.
But
there's a astrological vampire birth chart.
No, I think that was just Armand being nosy. This is how like when you're on the internet and people are like, what's your favorite color? What's your like? Because they want to steal your information and like steal your credit card shit. This is what this felt like to me when they were like, "Oh, who's your maker and when were you made?" Like it felt like information wrapped in bullshit that they would like to use to investigate you. And thank God Claudia has a brain and she was able to lie, because she's a good fucking liar.
I love how she clocked that shit though. Yeah, they were talking and then she kind of just looked over and clocked that shit immediately. And
Louis would have been dead if Claudia wasn't with him, and I hate that because she's supposed to be his junior. He's not the maker, but like you get what I'm saying. He's supposed to be like the authority here, and in my opinion, Louis would have been dead if Claudia. Well, also Louis wouldn't be doing this shit. Louis would have on a fucking apron back in Louisiana.
Why is Louis the authority?
Because he's older.
Oh well, I guess because he's old. He's older, so.
And he always acts like last week, like I got you and you got me, and no matter what, and blah blah blah. And like here we are, and like Louis like dick. Oh my god, like Louis, you have a child. At most, you're an older brother. Please just focus a little bit. And I don't like that. I don't like that about Louis.
I mean, I think that like they definitely would have used information to, find more out about them, but also they Claudia and Louis killed not only their maker but another vampire, you know what I mean, who happens to be their maker. So that's not something that they want to even be associated with, which is why I thought that she lied. I thought that she's just like, we don't need to be like, they even lied about the place where they came
also
from.
Why do these people need to know about you? Again, it reminds me of episode 1 when they were in Russia and Claudia was like, this is who we are. And Louis was out here about to just give everybody their social security numbers. It's like, Jesus Christ, Louis, you're a vampire going across state lines, murdering people. Just like, come up with a fucking lie you remember.
Yeah. I feel like, do y'all feel like Louis had she not, because I would have liked that he started to say his name was, and she just cut in his Bruce. I would have liked to see that, because do you think that he actually would have said
Yes.
Lestat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't think he would have?
I don't know, because it feels. I don't know. I can't call it if he would have actually said Lestat.
I think he would have.
You know what, Juwan? I'll give you this. If he wouldn't have said Lestat, he would have sounded like he was lying, and that's just as bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I were Claudia, that's
He's
just
a
as bad,
bad
which is why
liar.
she interjected.
I agree with that. Okay, I agree with that
thing I
part.
noticed that will come up later is like in the beginning of this episode, I think like Louis was like teaching when they were at the cafe. He was teaching Claudia like, "Oh, this is how you like mind read and shit." And you like he was like, "This is how you listen to other people's minds." And she was like, "Okay," like you could tell she was taking instructions. She was like, "I'm gonna do it like this." But then by the end of it, you have Armand being like, "Louis, your mind is too open. I can read all your shit."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Louis, again, you know more than Claudia. And Claudia's out here blocking her mind, like, consistently. And you're just out here, like, for any vampire to just pluck your brain. And you know, like, they can read it. Doesn't matter if they're here 100 miles away. So it's just, I don't know.
I mean, him knowing things and actually being a adept at it, it's two different things. Like, she just seems to be just better at a lot of these things.
Why is he bad?
Why is who bad?
Why is Louis bad at it?
Well, because Louis, to me, he is still kind of like attached to like his humanity, like too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
can, I'm guessing, mess with that
that's
side
true.
of him.
And he's
You know what I'm
sensitive
saying?
as well.
Like he's still like I mean, what do we complain all the time about him? He's always like sulking. He's always like, no, let's not kill humans. Like the way he
let's not kill them, but
reacted
murder
with
them.
this woman on stage. The fact that he's like taking photography and just like taking pictures of like people, even if it's their sorrow or whatever. Like he's still so connected to his humanity that it makes sense that he's kind of bad at a lot of like vampire shit.
Wait a minute. Are you going to bring up the pictures now or later?
What pictures? Oh, well, go ahead. I don't really have the notes on the pictures, but go ahead and bring
it. Okay. So
the one Daniel shows. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So two things. So this kind of goes back to my theory from earlier about I think Claudia may still be actually around. That nothing actually does happen to her in Paris, or it's not what we may think will happen to her in Paris. Okay, when you introduce if you introduce a photograph of a character, I think the only reason that you would do that is if you actually are going to physically see that character at some point by the end.
But they've
Who are you talking about?
Louis' sister, so are we gonna see her again?
No, I just feel like, but we've been seeing Claudia this whole time.
We've been seeing Claudia this whole time. Mm-hmm. Daniel has not until he showed her the photographs. And I think the only reason why Daniel would see a photograph of Claudia, not just because they gave him photographs to look at, but if he does see a lady vampire on the grounds or just suddenly come out of nowhere, he can recognize her. Mm-hmm. That's what I think narratively that works for me. They're just towards my theory.
I sincerely hope Claudia is still alive because she's the only one who could backhand the hell out of Louis out of this mind nonsense. But the fact that she has not existed worries me.
What if she just gone girled herself?
Well, true too. Also, what are the rules? Because like,
which one?
For what?
Shouldn't they not be okay? I'm just thinking about campy vampire shit. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't they not be able to be photographed?
That doesn't hold true. If you had watched Twilight, you would know that holds true sometimes.
But also, in this world, a lot of the things that we know, like about vampires, doesn't really.
Yeah, like the garlic and the holy water.
The garlic, the
Have you guys seen the TikTok trend?
Their reflection,
Sorry, I've been living on TikTok. Have you guys seen the TikTok trend where it's like people behind the screen talking about like when they get to hell and the devil asks them how they try to get rid of him, and it's people like speaking in tongues, or they're like, I don't know how to speak in tongues, but it's like people throwing salt and then speaking in tongues, and the devil laughing like, you dumb bitch.
Haven't gotten that devil TikTok yet. Okay, I'm trying to think back to.
Sorry,
I'm trying to think back to the original movie. I think in the movie, Christian Slater, and I think I mentioned this last episode, last year, Christian Slater asked him about like, well, what are the rules? What about crucifixes? He said, I like crucifixes don't work. Garlic doesn't work. I think the only thing he said that did work was a necessity was the coffin, which technically not in this.
So sunlight.
Technically not.
Well, it's
sunlight. Well, sunlight works, but technically the coffin doesn't really work here because last episode they slept in the bed. So,
well, but also in this episode we saw windows. Claudia still had her
coffin.
Yeah.
Wait, we saw Claudia what?
She had a coffin.
She had a coffin in her room.
In the room.
Yes.
That was
when they were still in the hotel. Yeah,
it was under the bed.
Yes, I like that setup. Okay, so from there, all of this feels insidious to me, is what I say. Again, shout out to Claudia for remembering to lie about who their maker is, because of course we find out Lestat is the co-founder of this, and I cannot wait to episode 3. I miss Lestat so much.
That feels right.
Oh yeah, this. Yeah, I'm surprised it's happening so fast, but yeah.
Really?
No, I'm glad that it's happening so fast. I don't want to wait for this shit.
I feel like they've been restrained with Lestat because they know there is a contingent of.
We got too much of him. We got too much of him this episode.
Never that. Because Louis don't make, and it's like it's also going to be Lestat from the past. I don't think it's going to be Lestat from the present day, from what I've seen.
No, I don't think we're going to see Lestat from present day until like later.
Like how
season.
late?
Way late.
How late?
Like episode. Wait, how many are there? 8 or 10?
8.
Like I want to say maybe 7 or 8.
Oh my god! I hope not.
If we see him,
I'm not dealing with Armand till episode 7. This is some dumb shit. No, I don't wanna. Okay.
So what do you guys think about Lestat being the co-founder of this particular?
It does kind of attract
that
him.
Louis and all that, and all them kind of stumbled upon.
People.
Well, again, I don't know the books. Take a drink, take a drink. But I don't. This was not in the movie. It may be in the book, so I know this was not in the movie. I don't think that in the movie that the theater company knew of Lestat at all. So I think again, just having that. As having that wrinkle in time, pun intended. I know I like that element of it, that he has a connection to it. I just wish it wasn't a same connection with the connection with Armand as a former lover as well.
Okay.
I like Daniel's reaction to this. He said, "Oh, did not see that coming. This is a telenovela." Like he was like, "You guys, of course, you guys share the same boyfriend." Like I just
apart. Like fuck you, Armand. That's not how any of that works.
But I love how Armand was just kind of like, yeah, I slept with Lestat, but I also slept with so-and-so, and I also slept with so-and-so. And what?
What do you call like a rebound? Like y'all got rebound or something?
Why are all of y'all fucking Lestat? Like what is going on there?
I mean, I feel like, do we even have to ask that question? I feel like that's...
We know, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we know that.
That's self-evident, I think.
But...
Because why wouldn't you?
But Armand tried it.
He did, but Daniel's reaction, I laughed so hard both times I watched the episode. Like I laughed so hard.
Daniel was my favorite part.
This is a telenovela,
right? Yeah. I was like, you are goddamn right, because they
playing the music. Daniel is such a fucking troll.
He is. He's like, y'all are playing in my faces right now, like I'm not at work, right?
Right, and which is for me, it's just like, yeah, Daniel was may have overstepped depending on how you viewed it this episode. But at the same time, the fact that like he senses their bullshit and they continue to like give it to him, that I would be upset too. You know what I'm saying? Like I would try to troll it just because like whatever their recounting of the story is feels like it's not sincere, and he knows it. Like he may be like a fucked up individual with all his issues, but he seems to be really good at his job, and he knows that they're
because again they invited
being honest.
There, he didn't make his way to these motherfuckers.
Right?
Y'all paid for the private jet that brought me here.
Right,
and now you're wasting.
I wonder what would it take? What would it take for him to generally make them upset because this is like a whole frail ass human and they just taking this
No,
shit.
I think they've been upset since season one. Armand,
and they were definitely upset
especially.
this episode. Yeah.
I don't even
But
think
they just
Armand
took it-
expected this shit to go on this long.
Probably not, but you know he has to entertain it because you know this is something that he's doing for Louis, but I'm like Daniel is basically calling them out today, fucking like literally telling these 100-year-old vampires, Armand 500 years old, like, hey, fuck you, nigga, fuck you.
But Louis ain't picking it up because he's slow. Louis is not picking it up.
Or he's glamored, I guess.
Yes, he's slow because he's glamored. Yes, let's go with that.
Slow.
He's slow because he's glamored.
Or he's just like in love. I hate how like in love he is.
Why does love have to make us all stupid? Like I don't like that about love at all.
Does.
Like I've been watching Bridgerton this weekend, and maybe because I'm old now, this bitch goes for like love instead of like the nigga who's gonna be on a trip for 3 years and like will respect you. And I'm like, bitch, are you dumb? But okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I want to mention before we sort of start wrapping up this insane episode is Claudia and her acknowledging, like, one, Claudia is so happy she has met this new coven. She's like, there are people like us. One, okay, so I don't, Joanne, confirm this for me, but is it that, like, vampires were more strict with making other men? Because I would just imagine there'd be vampires fucking everywhere. But it feels like what we're supposed to believe is, like, there's a fucking registry and you just don't make anyone a vampire.
I think so. A lot of I think this is one consistent thing across a lot of vampire stories, even True Blood to a certain extent, that vampires are not they're not actively going out just like you said to make, you know, anybody they meet that they like. They're not actively going to be making them a vampire. It has to be for either an extreme circumstance or a very, very good reason, or, you know, if you do want to procreate and you just maybe only do like one, maybe two. So gotcha. I think, and I know this was a part of the movie, you know, they did Claudia same way. She was dying.
Yeah.
You know, Louis kind of like was enamored by her. He wanted to save her. And so they don't really, I'll put a pin in. I was about to say something that could possibly be a spoiler, but it is that is kind of a rule across common vampire.
Because I noticed that I was like, there's like 20 of y'all in Paris. How?
Now I don't think that they are. I don't think that. Well, we don't know how old everybody is, so maybe this is like, you know, a century, like, you know, a couple of like, you know, decades long thing. I don't think they're part of the same. I think they all came to
different groups.
Like
they're all Crips, but like different sections or bloods.
I know the Asian guys, they said something about one guy did not accept the gift until he was old, like very much older.
So he got to be on stage first.
The son looks older than the father.
The son looks older than the father because the son accepted when he was younger.
Why are you making life difficult for yourself, my guy? You're gonna be undead.
So
because they're at the end of the day they're artists. So he was like, I don't want to be turned until I'm on stage.
Yeah, you're right. That sounds
but the thing is that, like, in reference to the making other vampires, like, I don't think is to their benefit for it to be a lot of vampires in the world or even in their vicinity, because then that means that you know, food would be scarce, that not everybody can handle this gift, and they may be like, you know, outed or whatever. Like, I think there's a lot more to it than just like, we just don't want vampires.
I like that because it makes Lestat turning Louis that much precious, but also makes like Lestat acquiescing to making Claudia for Louis that much special.
Absolutely. I mean, he made Louis because yes, Louis was suffering and all that, but because he like completely fell for him and he wanted to have him with him. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the same thing with Louis. Like, it seems like it never happens necessarily by accident. It's always like a love or a feeling of wanting this person to be in my life or to be here.
Like, you got to consider it for I like that. I'll be honest. But Claudia's over all this shit, y'all. Because she's already sensing the bullshit coming from Louis, and this was the most interesting line of the episode, where Claudia is already feeling the lust between Armand and Louis, and she tells him,
"Oh my God, you ain't lying."
Quote, it feels like two blunt fat cocks slapping hands. And I was like,
she said, I finally know what two fat cocks feel like slapping together.
That made me uncomfortable.
So
that line made me uncomfortable.
Thank you for that.
Right.
I was like, I feel you, Claudia. I'd be over it too if I could hear or feel that. Gross.
What actually the line that she said, I believe is in that scene before she said the whole Cox thing that kind of ended the conversation, was when she was
if
asking
that doesn't
Louis,
end the
she
conversation,
said,
I don't know what.
Right, I don't know what. Right, from a little from someone that looks like a little girl. That's it just felt wrong. But what I liked in that conversation is when she asked Louis, like she said, they were so proud to be vampires. Aren't you proud to be a vampire? Yeah. So she wasn't like, she was more than just happy. Like this gave her that sense that it seemed like that she was finding that sense of community, that like, oh, there are other vampires and they're like totally fine with being vampires.
She's like, there's a
not
darker
like Louis,
one than
like,
you.
like, who like Louis like regret. Louis seems to regret being a vampire every single waking moment of his life. You know what I'm saying?
Just get. Oh, you know, that's actually another thing I wanted to mention. Which is that, okay, you know what? No, let me hold it a little bit until we get that final scene where they break Daniel.
There could also be a racial commentary too about the pride thing.
Oh, that she's my brain. I was about to say Claudia. That Carly mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Okay.
Are you proud? Aren't you proud of who you are?
But that's what it is. Like, and her finding that and having these vampires behave and just kind of carry on and live in this world, unlike Louis, unlike what she literally has known her whole life. Like that to me was the most impressive part of that scene. And him just kind of just being like, no, I don't know, but they kill people. I don't know. Like him being his like wishy-washy self and like not committing and not like approving. And she is so over it because she has finally found like people that like really like being vampires. I think she even said like, you know, these Paris vampires really like being vampires or something like that. You know what I mean? Like she is
like, he's not out in any way. He's not out sexually. He's not out like a vampire. He's not out as a rich man. Everything about Louis just, again, he's a product of his times. And this is sort of what I meant to bring up. His mama, look, we could say Lestat fucked Louis up, but I would like to say his mama fucked him up way before.
Oh, we know that. Absolutely.
I mean, our culture absolutely fucks us up in our, you know,
like it felt like Louis with or without Lestat was just gonna end up a ball of chaos into like even if he fell in love with a mortal female woman or a mortal like his life was written unfortunately through his childhood, because his mama was already like, this is who you are, you're that son that's gonna provide for me. She's not really looking towards his emotional needs, but he's there for the family while restricting everything that makes him him. And he's carried that on through his relationship with Lestat and now his relationship with Claudia. And even if he killed Lestat, I feel like he would still be like this. Probably worse, honestly.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Claudia, you know?
And the sad part, I guess, if you want to call it that, is that, you know, he didn't have a chance to kind of deal with that while he was alive, you know what I mean? And now adding the whole vampire aspect to all of that you mentioned, I feel like makes it even worse, you know, brings him down even worse. So, which is why when he was in Paris and recounting how happy allegedly he was, like it felt good to see him this way, but also that's why it felt kind of just like ingenuine, because it just disingenuous, because it's just like it doesn't feel like him. He hasn't done the work to just be like, yeah, I'm happy now. I'm great.
No, he don't know what happy is.
I agree.
He doesn't. So because he's a little bit paranoid, especially after seeing that picture of Lestat at the Théâtre des Vampires, he decides to seek out this solicitor that is connected to another solicitor that him and Lestat used back in New Orleans. And he does some digging, and he visits the solicitor who says Lestat is dead. Let me play the clip. Hold on. Because I love the letter. So this is sort of like Lestat,
that's
Louis
beautiful.
reading a letter from Lestat.
In the event that you are reading this,
Can you guys hear that?
something dreadful has occurred, which is not my own death, rather the fact that we both now exist in two different worlds. Do not waste your life seeking revenge on the person or persons who did this. Do not give them the satisfaction of the hunt. You let treachery eat away at them from within. And you go carry on with your living. Know only this, mon cher. You are the only being I trust, and whom I love, above and beyond myself. All my love belongs to you. You are its keeper. A veil will not forever separate our union, but it is a thin veil, and I'm always on the other side. Face pressed up against your longing. Lestat de Lioncourt.
Like, it's not even that serious, Lestat. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, yo.
Okay.
Well, we all know Lestat is very dramatic.
Yes.
So him being the co-founder of a theater company just tracks,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, Joanne.
In light of real life events, which I won't go into detail about at all, I am going to say something briefly problematic.
Do I want you to bring something problematic? Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck that letter. Fuck Lestat. Because how long either before or after he beat him, beat Louis, was that letter written? I don't believe a word of it.
Really?
I don't believe a word
Not
of it.
a word.
Don't believe
you don't believe
a word
Lestat
of
ever
it.
loved Louis?
I believe he loved Louis, but I don't believe. But this flowery fucking you hold my heart, then you are the keeper of my love bullshit.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it, because if you are capable of displaying violent anger towards someone that you supposedly love, then I don't believe that you ever truly loved them. And to that effect, you just love the idea of them and the idea of someone.
I can agree with that logically, because yes, I agree with what you say. There is no but to that. I'm not even gonna try to I am proud. Look at that growth, y'all. I'm not gonna argue against that.
I fucking won. I
Ain't nobody said you won, okay? Relax yourself. I just said I'm not gonna argue that. God, let me get my growth win at least. Let me I don't let men know they right ever. But I don't have an argument against that. You're not wrong. Lestat. Again, like I was rewatching season 1, and I was like, I think at one point I was physically ill by Lestat's action. I'm not even gonna lie. And I was like, oh, okay, Lestat is a terrible fucking person. But what this show has now done in great Shonda Rhimes fashion is present me with an even worse Lestat, which then makes Lestat seem slightly worse. And then you put like a puppy in the middle, like Louis, who is just a person who will probably for the entirety of his life be manipulated by others. It's great writing. It's great writing of a human being, because human beings aren't simple. They're complex, they're exhausting, and all of that. And that's what makes this work. But it's fucking sad. I don't know. But yeah, Louis visits the solicitor. He says, like, well, I haven't heard from Lestat in all these years. He's probably dead. I'm just waiting for a little bit longer to make it officially legal. And that's when Louis reads the letter. And then we go back to modern day where Louis and Armand have decided to be their full petty self, which ends up kind of breaking Daniel. But as Daniel breaks, we see the glitch. And I was like, this motherfucker, Alice ain't real?
Wait a minute. That's what I wait a minute. Okay. You gotta explain this to me. You gotta explain that to me because I didn't get that from this.
Well, like,
you didn't get what from what?
Well, she said Alice wasn't real.
Yeah, Alice isn't real.
So I know I've read online that there's a theory that Alice as a human woman is not real, but instead it's Armand that is Alice, and then Armand and Daniel had something, and then that's why, or that's the reason that Armand kind of messes
like that
with
time
Daniel's memory in the 70s.
Like that time they all met, like Armand fucked with Daniel's mind to make him think there was this woman named Alice that never was, which kind of.
But he has kids.
Yeah, but that's not from Alice.
He was married. He's married a second time,
and like,
so
but
it could be kids from his second marriage.
But all his other
just a theory.
marriages
It's not
failed
saying
because of whatever relationship he has had with this woman named Alice. And if that fucking woman does not exist, and that's just, and it feels to me deep down like that's Armand playing fucking games, because I feel like Armand even felt bad when he was like, when Louis went too far and was like, Alice ain't marry you then, did she?
Right. But then when Armand kind of like felt bad and he was like, oh, she said no because she couldn't trust you.
Yeah.
Like,
I felt like
the way he said that sounded like it was coming from like a personal place. Like just the way he said it. That I was just kind of like, that was a little weird. And then we saw the like flash.
Sorry,
excuse me.
Finish, Carly. My bad. I interrupted.
No, and then we saw the flash of like in Daniel's memory or whatever of Armand asking him about playboys or some shit like that. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, to me, that just felt like you said, it was a glitch. Like he's remembering Armand doing something to him, but it's still, everything is not there. Like the whole play with memory throughout this whole show, but definitely this past 2 episodes, I find it really interesting, and I wonder how that's going to kind of play out throughout the season, and or how that's going to like play into the story that we're hearing when it comes to.
I can't wait for that.
You didn't get that at all? What did you pick up from this scene where Daniel glitched?
I mean, we already knew that Armand already knew who Daniel was. So I just figured that the glitch was just seeing him do something, to him, or like, or the glamoring of him back in the 70s or 80s.
Because I've never seen Daniel this sad in the show. Like, I just felt bad for this man, and I was just more concerned that his Parkinson's was acting up, and not that he was like, about to cry. His feelings got hurt. Like, this is like, okay, this is the look you see in the face of a man that you want to hurt.
Yeah.
Like that's
interesting.
Yeah, like that's the look that was on Daniel's face, and that face was so horrible. Armand had to be like, "Wait, let me mitigate this situation.
Let me just reel this back.
Let me reel it back. Let me
right.
Too much.
Too far." Because Louis was like, "Yeah, bitch, your wife left you, bitch." And I was just like,
yeah, she said no, bitch.
I was just like, Louis, please stop. He's dead already.
Did you guys catch the line from last episode, I want to say, of like, after they did this to Daniel, Armand says something like, well, now do you want to just ask your questions and listen?
Yeah.
Right? And then Daniel says something like, oh shit, what was the line? It was like something like, okay, and then what happened? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what Armand wanted him to say last episode. So the fact that like he got him to do it this episode, again, sketchy. That's it. That's all I got.
Then I'm back in on the present day stuff because I like what y'all are putting down. So so now I can't wait for that other shooter drop in present day.
Because this
which
is all
hopefully
going to
ties
fuck over on Armand, and I can't wait. Because Armand has no control of either Louis' dumbass or Daniel's dumbass. And that's what makes it so good for me. Because Armand is still trying to control this shit. And he has lost all control.
But wait, but what is your evidence that he's lost all control?
Because Daniel's glitching and Louis acting extra petty. He's trying to look at extra pages, even though Armand is like, well, you said you didn't want to ever look at them pages. Or like
I don't think he's lost control. I think that he is still I don't think he's lost control. I think he is slowly acquiescing to certain things, but I think Armand has the most control over all of them. And I think that, like Carly has been saying, that he's manipulating this entire situation. And he has the illusion of it. And I think because again, I'm not as distrusting of Armand as y'all are, but I do think that there is something more to that we are not seeing in this relationship, and I think that he is the catalyst for that. But
there was also another. I wish I would have written it down. I'm sorry, but there was also another line that Armand said to Louis, and it was in reference to like making Daniel do something the way they did in San Francisco, or like not making him do something, but like having him like break him or like bend him in some way. Like I don't remember what the sign was, but when he said that, I know, and I rewatched it today, and I should have written it down. But like he said something similar to like something that something that they did in the 70s to Daniel, and like he mentioned
all
it
messy
again
in the 70s. If your parents were alive in the 70s, they were fucking messy.
Everybody's.
I don't know what
messy.
A lot.
And then you add drugs on top of it. So now I'm thinking like this drug problem supposedly that Daniel had, why he doesn't remember a lot of the first interview, could have been the whole Armand.
If they gave Daniel a drug problem and this man never had one, that's rude. That's rude.
Well, I think he was an alcoholic already, though.
Okay, I mean that alcoholic and like crackhead is different, Sean.
That's true too. Okay.
No one said he was a crackhead.
That's the only excessive drug. Okay, cocaine.
No, but what I'm saying is like, because remember he like didn't remember the first interview in the 70s in San Francisco, so Armand could have something to do with that.
Yeah. And okay, also Daniel is not the only one who glitches. We also have a scene. Okay, and this is sort of the last couple of scenes where we go back to the past and Claudia and Louis and basically the gang go to some mansion where they just kill a bunch of people and take another victim for the next play. And Armand is also creepy here because he's telling Lestat, well, make sure you don't, not like make sure, but
Louis.
Yeah, no, he was like, don't reach out to that person you went to before about Lestat. Don't do this. And then he's like, and then Louis, I think, kind of like answers by his formal name, and he's like, oh, you don't have to call me that. You can just call me Armand. And it just felt like he was giving him orders. Now, it wasn't like a conversation. It felt like
this nigga felt like he was choosing.
And there was no choice here for me, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I felt like this just felt like, hey, I like you. You like me?
Yeah. No, it felt like he was
I saw it as like, since he's the head of the coven, the elder, the head of the coven, he was just kind of like giving him advice as to what not to do.
No, it felt
However, it was kind of fishy that he was like, don't go back to
I didn't like that at all.
Banker guy.
Like, don't tell me when I
don't go back to the banker guy.
Unhealthy with my ex. That's not up to you. I'll be unhealthy whenever I want to.
Well, this is under the guise that I believe that he again likes Louis. He's maybe not in love with Louis at this point, but he's intrigued or fascinated or even likes him maybe a little bit starting to romantically. That what, Lestat was an asshole anyway. I don't care what happened between y'all. Just don't let these other motherfuckers find out.
But what I keep coming back to is his relationship with Lestat was extremely unhealthy, and I just wish there was therapy. But Louis always felt more a person when he was with Lestat. Louis and Lestat feel like Harley Quinn in The Joker, where these two people should not be together, but at least for some fucking reason they're happy together. And that's what
they love each other.
Yeah, and that feels genuine. But whatever the fuck this is with Armand, it's not genuine. I don't like it. I'm not here for it. It feels way more controlling than Louis ever was with Lestat, and that slightly makes me mad because, like,
I feel you.
You know, like Louis, just be with yourself. But it feels like Louis is just that person that can't be with themselves.
I feel the only reason I disagree is because this is ostensive. Armand, this is like maybe a week. So I'm not ready to say at this moment in the past that Armand is manipulating Louis when he doesn't really have any reason to at this point.
I mean, he's been stalking him for 5 months, though.
Yes, because
not him personally, though.
Yeah. Him and Claudia.
Because they were
still stalking them.
No, but like the coven were stalking.
The coven
was
stalking them.
Not just Armand.
So that's why
Armand is the leader. Why would the coven do anything Armand isn't signing off on?
Because they're new vampires and they're not revealing themselves in town. They're not revealing themselves, and so that's what I'm saying. I'm not ready to say that it's a manipulation at this point because I don't feel that there is any reason to do that. At this point,
I don't know. I just really feel like I recognize manipulation, and all of this screams manipulation.
Well, I mean, I can see why you say that, Juwan, but at the same time, I get what Mo is saying. Because he may have, if he is who we think he is and who, this like evil mastermind manipulator, who has some skin in the game that we just don't know what it is yet. Like, it does make sense that like he would start, if he read their minds already and he knows kind of like the whole thing, it would make sense that he would start very soon to like play his games and make sure
what
that,
I
like,
just realized? He knows Claudia lied. Because if this dumbass Louise, like, I met with the guy about Lestat,
I didn't even think about that.
Oh my fucking God, he knows. Oh,
I didn't even think about that part.
He just signed Claudia's death warrant.
But also, I just I'm beating a dead horse, but a 70-year long con when there is no interview, there's no first interview.
It's not a con. He loves him. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. But now that we are at the end,
yes,
back to Carly, skirt all the way back to what Carly said about keeping it low key.
Oh wait, I have a final line. Wait.
Okay.
Claudia is finally loving Paris, and Louis is falling for Armand. Claudia has found community, and Louis has found dick. Go ahead.
Oh Lord,
that feels right for Louis.
Okay. Oh my God. Going all the way back to what you said in the beginning about keeping it low key. I think, I feel that, but I think when you kill a mansion full of rich people and kidnap someone and you leaving headless bodies all around, that's not exactly low key. That's not exactly low key. I mean, they did burn the house,
but that's why they're keeping it low key. Like after all the shit they did at the end of last season in where was it, in Louisiana, in New Orleans. Like, they're not going to go around Europe and being like, yeah, it's Lestat that made us, and then we killed them. You know what I'm saying? Like, after everything they did, of course they want to now keep it low-key. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
they're like, they're running. Like... They seem to, like, be, in a way, like, on the run / also looking for other vampires. You know?
I just feel like, you're not really low I mean, they may not be able to find you.
They're off Broadway, remember you said.
Somebody's gonna be looking into headless bodies on the courtyard.
But it's like 1958.
Right, but are they going to go
down the mansion?
Paris?
They burned down the mansion, so they could just be
but there was bodies in the courtyard.
I'm assuming all that shit burned. Like,
no, but what
don't exist yet is what I was trying to
say. No, but like, okay, so like what is the point that you're trying to make, that they're not being low key because of that?
I don't think that. I just feel like that type of carnage can draw attention.
I think you're overestimating humans, Sean.
No, he's right. That type of carnage would garner attention. Rich. Absolutely. Okay. But they're in Europe now. And the fact that they're like trying to keep it low key, possibly because of what they did. Not only was it so like, theatrical and huge, what they did in New Orleans, but also they killed Lestat, who's an, old school vampire. And then they see this fucking picture of him and know that these people know him. Like, it just doesn't, it makes sense that they would lie about all of it.
Yeah.
about everything, from Lestat to like even where they were from.
But that's on
That's
Louis
it.
and Claudia's side. It's still, what the fuck is the point of Armand and his crew? Like, that's what's off a bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
What do you
Again,
mean?
yeah. Go ahead.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Mo?
No, I mean, like, they've escaped all this carnage in America, but now they're in Europe where there's another group of vampires creating all this carnage, but no one is after this other group.
No. And at the end of the day, they're still monsters. They're still they're vampires. They're monsters. Like, I know we talk about this because they're like, they have their human emotions. But at the end of the day, Lestat is a monster.
Oh, yeah.
And whether you like him or not, he's still a monster. Whether he's in love with Louis, whether you think he's in love with Louis or not, he's a monster. So is Armand.
He's a
so
monster
is fucking
to
Louis.
everybody
So is
else.
Claudia. Like the fact that we saw glee in her face when she found when she was watching this coven of vampires eat this woman. Like, they're still monsters. So at the end of the day, like, we can't forget that part.
It's wild
right?
how Claudia can be so innocent and yet want to kill 50 people at the same time.
But I don't think she is innocent. Like, how is she innocent?
No, I said she seems innocent to us because
she looks like a little girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, she'll also want to like massacre a whole bunch of fucking people and drink their blood. Like, she is at home with, because it's like her innocence makes her seem innocent, but she is not. She's a murderer.
Her innocent appearance. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, she is. I mean, at the end of the day, she is Lestat's child. So, like, I feel like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree
at all. And this is why
I think she's more like Lestat. I think I mentioned this last week. She's more like Lestat than she is like Louis.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And I think Lestat definitely knew that, and he was trying to like.
And Louis does not have. I don't want to say heavy hand, but Louis does not fucking have the hand. I would say hand that is needed to give boundaries to a child like fucking Claudia. Again, this is why I say at the Claudia end of the day, uses as a pawn. Everyone uses Louis as a fucking pawn. It's annoying.
No, I just think that at the end of the day, like Louis, they have really different like philosophies, I guess,
but
when it comes to this.
Her, she's still a child.
She's not a child.
Well,
now
at this point, she's
like 30-something.
But when he got her, she was a child. You've had her for 30 years, Louis, or like 25. Like, you've had her since she was a child.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing?
And when she was a child, they were trying to teach her, their ways. But Louis is too involved in his own shit to even get there. But I think that at the end of the day, I don't think he'll ever be able to quote unquote teach her his ways because they're just different.
His ways are stupid.
They're like so different.
His ways are stupid, and they're not consistent. But
they're not consistent. Can I just we skipped over a scene that I really liked the way it was presented to us.
Yeah.
And it was their flirty, little fallen in love scene outside of the mansion where all the vampires were like killing people on the inside.
He had a really nice coat on.
Oh yeah, with the background,
I love the juxtaposition. The juxtaposition. Cool. I was here for it. Like, they were just kind of like literally like falling in love and like flirting and banter, and like behind them it was like blood,
it was absolute
people getting
chaos.
It was great.
And Claudia's like, I love murdering.
This is so much fun with the blood dripping down her neck.
And they're
loved
like
it. Come
in
on.
English, Claudia. I'm just like, what?
Right. Like, I think, and to be honest with you, when it comes to Claudia learning, this coven is gonna teach her. Probably is gonna teach her even more how to be probably more vicious, but also
how to cover it up.
Yeah, how to cover it in the same way that the play.
Yeah.
In the same way that the play is very, leading you one way when it's really showing you something else. I think they're gonna kind of.
I wonder if Claudia is gonna be an actress.
I think so.
That would be nice to see.
Think so.
Oh my god, I really am excited to see where this episode goes, and I still think it's kind of interesting that I remember nothing of the third act of the original. Like, again, my brain just was like, trauma. Erase it. Because how do I remember everything except for when like the third act of Interview with the Vampire goes down? I don't know.
I'm actually glad that neither one of y'all remember.
Yeah,
remember what?
Because you're
the third act of the second and third act of the movie. Yeah.
Oh, because I haven't seen it in like 20 years.
Yeah, like
I don't even want y'all to watch it. I don't even want y'all to watch it.
I'm not. I saw you were watching it in the group, but I'm not watching.
Actually, I didn't. I was watching. No, I was watching the show.
Okay.
It was just that was just the only one. And
yeah, what's up with that? Facebook doesn't let you like find AMC's Interview with the Vampire.
Because that when I said that Santiago, the speech that he was giving, I pretty much knew it word for word.
I thought you were watching it and the speech was in there.
No, it was the same speech. It was just done better. Okay. It was just better in the show than it was in the movie.
Gotcha.
No, this is Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright is a great actor.
This was a good episode. When I said it was
a really good
I'll
episode.
take it back. I was just very frustrated by Louis. Because it's just like, God damn, Louis. Like, I keep fighting for you, but you make it hard, my guy. Like, you make it hard. I don't know.
I think that this episode was a great introduction to this coven and to the kind of
I'm excited.
The world of Paris that we're gonna be living in for a while.
I want to see how Lestat destroyed like them. Or whatever Lestat did to them.
I think, I gotta, since we're about to wrap up, I gotta feel in the next episode. I'm sure we're gonna see some of the future, of course, the present day rather. I think that next episode is probably gonna be the Lestat and Armand show.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I hope so.
I can't wait because I am tired of Armand. That's their couple name. Lestat and Armand.
Oh God.
I thought it was Arstat.
Oh God, no, I like Armand.
I think I read that somewhere.
But I am just tired of Armand getting one over on us. I want to know more about him, sort of like how he's fucked up in his secrets and what is happening, or what happened between him and Lestat. Because either he got broken up with, and that feels more real, because if it doesn't feel like he broke up with Lestat, it feels like Lestat broke up with them. So I want to see if we see that story. Because that's
interesting.
Yeah,
I want to see. You know what? Because that would be interesting. Because I mean, Armand survived Lestat, so we kind of see, and we've always seen Lestat as the quote unquote alpha of the vampires, of what we saw in the first season. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what the dynamic between him and Armand is. Is Armand, are they equal? Is Armand, who is older, who would be older than Lestat, is he the alpha in that relationship? Or what happened between them to the reason why Lestat even would have left the troupe?
Okay.
Interesting. And end up in New Orleans.
Okay. Let's make a prediction. When Lestat comes back, do you think he will be happy or angry to see Louis?
Both.
No, you gotta pick one. I need you to pick one.
No. No.
John.
Okay.
Okay, how about this? This is a better question. Will he whoop Louise behind when he comes back?
I'm gonna say no. And I'm also gonna say, if I would have, I know, because of knowing, of course, the last act of the movie, considering where Lestat ends up, I would say as a departure, I think he's going to be sad. He's going to be sad to see Louis.
Gonna be sad. Okay.
Because and that's just knowing how his reaction in the movie.
Okay. I can't wait to find out. I can't wait.
I
think it's going to be a happy ending, guys. I'm excited.
You think it's going to be a happy ending?
I don't know about happy ending, but like I think that
be a happy ending. I don't know if it will be, but I want it to be.
Go ahead.
I just think that he'll be very conflicted, just because his feelings for it. And if he does do something to Louis, I don't think it's going to be
like Claudia's
something
sad.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true or not. But all I know is the moment Louis recognizes that, everybody else is dead, I feel like. Because that guilt between his brother, who killed himself,
maybe so,
and him failing Claudia, I don't know how he comes back from that.
Again,
I mean, we see him back.
We see him back.
Memory
present day. Because again, this is because this is the second interview. Armand has always been there. I know I apologize to listeners. I know I keep referencing the movie. The movie was the first. The movie technically was only a first interview, and And just knowing how that ends, and this is a second interview, not necessarily a continuation of the movie. This is a second interview, and Louis is elated and to be with Armand. I'm just feel like that this. I just hope my theory is true. I don't want to be the kind of person that says that my theory is not true. That fuck this show.
You believe in your theory, yo.
I feel like there's like several shoes that are gonna drop.
Yeah, I'm not ready yet.
Absolutely,
I'm not ready.
And to for me, what I really want to see when it comes to Armand and Lestat is how different their relationship is from Louis and Lestat. Like, I want to see if there's a difference, not how different.
I feel like
there's
we've already seen the difference. Louis just seems more robotic.
No, I'm not talking about. No.
Oh, who?
I'm talking about the dynamic between Lestat and Armand versus.
Oh, I got
as a couple versus Louis and Lestat.
That's
like I'm interested to see how the relationships differ.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see.
I agree, because that's gonna shed a lot.
I think that'd be more interesting.
Because I'm interested to see if it's as toxic as it was with Louis. You know, I mean, Lestat seems to be kind of like
the one that just brings the toxic out of the relationship
out of everybody.
I feel like Armand broke up with Lestat.
Really?
I feel like it's Armand. I feel like it was Armand that told Lestat to go and not Lestat.
But then why is he then with his boyfriend? Like that's the part that seems messy.
He wouldn't
have known it. He wouldn't have known that.
The 5 months he was stalking Louis. You think Louis?
You keep saying that, but we don't have.
He said the coven followed y'all for 5 months because y'all were ditching bodies in the train or the tunnels or whatever.
If that were true, and the show hasn't shown us this, but if that was true, then the coven would already have known that he killed Lestat. And we have not seen that.
They know
as of yet.
That's my point.
No, I don't think the coven knows.
I think Armand knows.
Armand knows.
Armand knows something. That Armand knows there's more to it. Yeah. He told Louis that he does.
And everyone doesn't have the mind reading ability. So I would assume it's something that like an ancient like Armand would know, an old ass like Louis Lestat would know, which he then taught Louis. But
but also like if you take the whole like mind reading aspect away, it's not. I don't think it's that hard to see Louis' bullshit or that he's lying, because also Santiago kind of is just like Santiago's kind of like a little bit like iffy on him
his
too.
His sister saw him
because
twice
it just seems like
you're a demon, you're dead. Please don't contact the family anymore. So you're not wrong.
So I don't know. I just think that like aside from the mind reading, it's not that hard to kind of decipher Louis.
And he's so sad all the time. Like I get it. I'm like this when I'm just sad. You know, it's just like I'm just gonna be here looking at the wall, and God, that would suck to be Claudia to have to deal with someone like that. Like that's.
Are you kidding me? That's why she was like chomping at the bit to try to find others, and then when she did, she was like, "Shh, I'm staying. I don't know about you, but I'm staying."
Episode 1, she was like,
"I'm about trying to leave,
hang out with this witch in the woods over here."
Right, rather than be with Louis. I
can't. Yo.
All right, y'all. All right.
Okay, let's wrap up. I think we've dissected Louis enough this episode. We've dissected Louis like our name was Daniel. But yeah, this was a fantastic episode to talk about. I really enjoyed myself. Is there anything else either of you want to add before we wrap up?
Okay. No, I'm just excited to see their relationship between, like I said before, Armand and Lestat, and just kind of see him. And y'all got me more interested now in this present day stuff. So
me too. Carly,
what I'm looking forward to?
Anything you want to add? What you're looking forward to?
No, nothing to add this episode other than that I don't want to see any more of like Armand and Louis falling in love. But I'm also, interested to see how that. No, I'm also interested to see how that all happened. I just don't like the like lovey-dovey, like we've been together 70 years. That's 30 more than him and Lestat.
Like why are you counting? Why are you counting, sir?
Right. But I'm also always really interested in what's happening present day. And I do appreciate that the show not only gives it like equal importance, but makes it like equally as like intriguing to watch too. Because I'm really into this whole like what happened in the 70s, in 70s San Francisco with the whole the first interview, and what does Armand have to do with it, and why is he being so like sketchy about it?
Yeah, that's true. I would like to see that. I
So
would like
the
to see
more,
that
even
first
if we
interview.
see like little bits and pieces throughout this season, if every episode we get a little bit, like, I'm okay with that. But I
want a
just
whole
want to know
episode.
more.
I want a whole episode of that first interview
In San Francisco, oh my God, I would love a
That
whole
would be good. I think they
70s
have
San
to
Francisco
do it.
episode.
I don't care how they de-age Daniel. They got to figure it out and do it. I think that would be really good, honestly.
No, the actor that they chose to
got an
play young
actor.
Daniel, I think is good.
Okay.
You know,
Look,
looks good. Yeah.
I would take an entire episode of that. Like that, I think would be some freaky shit because they all crazy. But yeah, oh my God. So to the listeners, we recorded a day or two earlier than usual because I've just got some shit happening in my personal life and only so many days in the week. So I did not get a chance to put up a feedback post. But just as a reminder, if you watch the episode, you have feedback, please just send it to tvmoviemistress@gmail.com. Just put the episode number on there and I will read it. But I did not get a chance to put up the post in the Facebook group. Apologies. But outside of that, I do hope you guys have enjoyed our coverage of season 2, episode 2 of Interview with the Vampire. Again, I am so thankful for this show. It just makes me so happy. Just to mention a couple of other things on the feed, my latest episode of May Rants News Movies and TVs is out. I talk a little bit about Diddy and Drake because fuck them niggas, and then I talk about oh my God, like just give me a shovel and a
Hot
gun.
mess.
Yeah. And then I also talked about movies and television that are upcoming. That's on the podcast feed. Another episode from me and Carly, if you are not tired of hearing us, we talked about episode 1 of Mary and George, and we will be back soon for the season overall season recap. Because that's
I
a
should
great
take notes.
show. Yes. And as a reminder to both of y'all, I didn't forget, Carly, you have to watch Shogun. Joanne, you have to. What does Joanne have to watch? Shit. Warrior. Yes. Thank you, Carly. Accountability.
Maybe I'll watch it on the plane.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great plane show.
You will be like, I gotta watch all of this. So you know what? Yeah, that might be great. That might be.
Just
great.
know that there's subtitles for.
There's barely subtitles.
No, but for like a good part of the first episode.
I feel like there's barely 5 minutes.
No, I'm just saying, but like just know that.
Don't do that.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I'm being an asshole. Just fucking watch the show, y'all. Stop hurting my feelings and please watch. Put it on the background while you're ironing or doing laundry. Stop hurting my feelings. And guys listening, harass them on social media to watch these shows.
No.
Yes. At Carly Vision
on social media, so
at Twitter and at JTD. I think. I don't think there's anything. There you go. Yeah.
On Twitter and Instagram, and also the Edit That Out podcast with Jamel, Devin, and Jawan on all podcasting platforms.
There you go. Perfect. And you guys can find me on Twitter as well, BookDreamer01, TV Movie Mistress as well for the show. Check out my YouTube channel. I cover... I do reactions on there, cover books that I'm reading, and a bunch of other shit. And there's the Patreon. If you want to support the show, throw me a couple of bucks so I can buy soju and get twisted when I record, or whiskey. Either one is great. And I appreciate that. But outside of that, we'll be back next week. Joanne, by any chance, do you have episode 3 for us?
Do not, unfortunately.
Just like
I don't even think it's on IMDb yet. Let me just one more cursory check.
Okay.
One more cursory check. Episode 3, entitled "No Pain."
Huh. That sounds scary. Okay, that's interesting. We'll be back.
I feel like that's when Lestat comes back, right?
That's gonna be all.
So.
That's what that episode's titled. No Pain. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we will be back next week, guys, for episode 3, season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. No Pain. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.